I hope that the justices, because they'll be working on some other cases, but one in particular, presidents have to be given total immunity. They have to be allowed to do their job. If they're not allowed to do their job, it's not what the founders wanted.
Supreme Court released a series of opinions yesterday and this morning, but the most notable exception was Trump's claim of presidential immunity. His argument is simple. He can't be prosecuted for trying to overturn the 2020 election or anything else he did in office. That isn't an entirely new question for the court to decide, but they've already doubled the deliberation time from US versus Nixon. In US versus Nixon, they took 54 days, but in this case, they've already taken 112. Also in US versus Nixon, the court ruled there is a limited executive privilege in areas of military or diplomatic affairs, but required the president to obey subpoenas and consequently release the famous tapes that sank Nixon's presidency.
The video will continue in just a moment, but first I have a message for you. TYT needs your help. Membership is vital to survival, so please go to tyt.com/team and become a member today.
The lack of speed here is important to note because the justices are completing decisions at the second slowest rate since the 1946 term, the Wall Street Journal reported recently. And yet they seem to have issued quick rulings in cases that benefit Republicans. It's not as though his lawyers made the most compelling case, however. Trump's lawyers made a deranged claim that his time in the White House made him untouchable, even if he were to go so far as to assassinate a political rival. And they offered a nonsensical interpretation of the Constitution, claiming that it requires an impeachment before there can be any criminal prosecution. Now, Brett, before we get into some of these other cases, do you think the court is slow rolling this decision to help Trump?
Yes. Yes, they are. The thing about the Supreme Court is they have the word supreme in front of them. And this goes to their head. And I'm glad it does, because frequently the Supreme Court, like in history, has been like, asked themselves, should I weigh in on this? Is this the kind of thing that I should put my hands on? What are the consequences in the long run of me either intervening or not intervening? Is the State of the Union strong enough where it can get through this without me weighing in? Or does it need the Supreme Court to do stuff? And a lot of the time it is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court who really weighs that. That's why you get people like, and you had, a lot of folks that just kind of weigh their future reputation when it comes to what decisions they make. But now they just really don't want to get their hands dirty ahead of the election. And I understand that. I would understand that if it was a really weird situation, or if it was unclear. But the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, is arguing that he has total immunity and that he could do anything he wants. Now, the Constitution is written in a lot of words that we don't understand each one. Maybe they might be a little difficult to read, but the concepts do make sense. And one of the core concepts is that no one is above the law, not even the president of the United States. The ways in which he is considered above the law as a result of the Nixon decision is like purely when it comes to like him needing to protect the Union now. Like having to go launch a military campaign or something that we need it done right now. But not this, not any of this. Not him trying to subvert the rest of the Constitution by stealing the democracy from all of us.
Sure. I talked to Chris Geidner, who is a Supreme Court reporter and has been for years, about a week ago, about the length that they've taken on this case. And he points out just the perfect comparison to see where the political motivation is to look to the Trump ballot access case. So I pulled those dates so people have context. That case was accepted on January 5th. They heard the arguments on February 8th, and they decided it on March 4th. That would have impacted Trump's ballot access for Colorado. The primary was the next day. So if there is a motivation to help Trump, they can work quickly. They can hear a case and issue an opinion quickly. But here they're slow rolling it to the end of the term. And it might be a long shot, but there is a possibility. It's not outside of the realm of possibility for the court just to hold it into the summer or into the fall. The longer they hold on to this case, the more likely that allows Trump the possibility to appeal into next year, past the election. So we might not have, because they're taking so long, we might not have resolution on this case until after the election, and likely will not have resolution on this case until after the election.
Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.